Hello, welcome back to the Good Bowls program. I'm Dr. Bashira Inahora, and this week is all about meal planning. Our goal is to make meal planning as simple as possible for you. And I know what you're thinking. Meal planning takes a lot of time, but it doesn't have to. And in the long run, when we plan our meals in advance, we can actually save time on the back end. So again, we want to simplify this for you as much as possible this week. Some advantages to planning our meals are that we tend to eat and cook healthier, we save money, and again, we save time. So for those reasons, we're going to give you some tips to make this as simple as possible and streamline the process for you. So tip number one is to keep it simple and be realistic. You want to think about what meal planning schedule fits your lifestyle most. Some people like to plan for an entire week. Some people like to plan for just 1 or 2 days at a time. Some people will even plan for an entire month. It really is up to what fits your schedule best. So in thinking about that, you also want to be realistic about how many days a week you're going to be able to cook at home. So for some people, that might be 1 day a week. For some, that might be 2 or 3 days a week. And for others, that might be every day of the week. It really is about what fits your schedule and your lifestyle. So keep it simple and be realistic. After you've thought about that, you want to start with a list of meals that either you cook regularly, that you cook well, you can pull together quickly, or meals that you like. Maybe you're eating out more, but think about those meals that you like to eat out, because oftentimes we can save time and money with a little bit of planning in advance. Instead of cooking those meals out, prepare them at home. So think about the foods that you and your family like to eat, the meals that you and your family like to eat, and try to come up with at least 5 meals. If you can create an even longer list of 10 meals, even better. Then once you have that list, think about where you can add or increase the number and the amount of vegetables that are in that list. And I like to start with vegetables first because that's typically where we fall short here in the United States. So think about where you can add vegetables to those meals. And what might that look like? It may be just adding a side dish, or it could be changing your recipe a little bit to decrease one ingredient and increase with vegetables. So for example, if you're making a broccoli casserole, you could decrease the amount of breadcrumbs in the casserole and increase the amount of broccoli. So that's just one example. Or maybe it's you're making a stir fry and you typically only make that stir fry with peppers and onions. Maybe you can now add in broccoli and mushrooms into that stir fry to just give you more bulk and more vegetables. The next tip is to use MyPlate when planning your meals. If you haven't heard of MyPlate, it is a visual tool developed by the USDA, and it just shows you visually the types of foods and the proportions of foods that we should try to include in our meals. The first, again, is to think about filling half your plate with fruits and vegetables. That's really the big portion of MyPlate that we want to focus on. And again, think about vegetables, because that's generally where we fall short, especially non-starchy vegetables like broccoli, green beans, zucchini, collards, yellow squash. All of those vegetables that are really rich in color, that's where we want to focus, including the bulk of our plate, at least half our plate with those non-starchy vegetables. 1/4 of our plate should include some lean protein or lean meat, like baked chicken or baked fish. 1/4 of our plate should include a starchy vegetable or a whole grain or a grain, like a sweet potato or a baked potato or beans or lentils or rice. And then we should also complement our meal with some low-fat dairy for a good source of calcium and potassium, like low-fat milk or low-fat yogurt or cottage cheese. And then we also want to include a healthy beverage like water with our meals or unsweet tea. And then not pictured in MyPlate, but also important, are healthy fats. And we're gonna come back to the topic of healthy fats later on. But for now, think about healthy fats as fats that come from plants. So nuts, seeds, avocado, olives, and olive oil are good examples of healthy fats that we want to eat more of because these lower our risk of heart disease. So in meal planning, one of the wonderful ways that we can focus on those healthy plants is with a good cooking oil, like extra virgin olive oil, if that fits within your budget. So use MyPlate as a visual tool when planning your meals. And again, try to include as many of those food groups as possible, but at least focus on 3: non-starchy vegetables, lean protein, and whole grains as a place to start, or even just starting with non-starchy vegetables as a place to start and trying to plan out some of your meals. Tips number 3 and 4, last but not least, are to use the meal plan and the recipes features within our Good Bowls app to help you plan your meals, and also to include our Good Bowls frozen meals in your meal plan as a wonderful, delicious, healthy option while you're at work. Stay tuned this week as we're going to be providing you with more tips to simplify meal planning, and let's have some fun along the way. Interact with us on the community page and share your thoughts about how this week is going. Until next time.